It's time for another episode of Coaches on the Move. I don't know. Does that sound like a good name? Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the S2S Sport Network, part of L4 Media. Of course, I'm also part of Sideline to Sideline, which you can hear right here. And we started last week when we had the new head coach of Buller, Colt Bradford, on. We started this series where I'm going to be interviewing new coaches, new head coaches at new positions. They might have been a head coach before, but this is their first time at a school in 4A, 3A, or 2A. We're going to continue. But this week also, it's kind of the preseason Henderson ISD football show because I will be joined by the new head coach of Henderson, Coach Clay Baker, being brought to you by Raw Iron Gym of Henderson. Logan and the Gamer are located right there in Henderson at 2101 Highway 64. You can give them a call, 903-987-5858. You can also email Logan at tcuno152@yahoo.com. Find them online at rawirongymhenderson.com. You can also find them on Facebook. All you got to do is just type in Raw Iron Gym Henderson in the search. Logan has been a great sponsor of this Henderson show for, I think this is going on his fourth year. And it's nice to finally have the head coach of Henderson. No knocking the old coaches. But when the losses started happening, it was hard to get them. Coach Baker has dedicated that he will be here doing these coaches shows each and every week during the season, and we do appreciate that. But we're going to be talking to him today about the move to Henderson, about what it means to move to Henderson, being from Henderson. You know, he was a star baseball player for the Lions back in the day. I actually had the pleasure of covering him his senior year in baseball a little bit. With the company I was working for back then, because we also did baseball games and we did a couple Henderson games. But, you know, and not only being from Henderson, but the job that he left, the head coach of Price Carlisle, a place that he had been since '08. So he's basically leaving home to come home. And we'll talk about all that and what's it like having to make that decision. Deciding to leave Price Carlisle. Also talk a little bit about what he's doing offensively, his coaching hire. He made a great defensive coordinator hire, another local guy. And I think that's what Henderson needs. I think Henderson got away from that the last couple years. And Henderson, just like many small towns in East Texas, that connection between community and football is so vital. And if it gets severed for whatever reason, you got to rebuild it. And I think that's what Coach Baker and his staff is going to do. It's going to be tough, though, in the district that they're in. But anyway, we're going to be talking to Coach Baker about all that. And we'll do it when we come back right here on the S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media Company. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out. Terry Bennett back here, now joined by the brand new head coach of the Henderson Lions, Coach Clay Baker. And Coach, first off, congratulations. What's it like being back home?
Yeah, it's been great. Everybody's been extremely welcoming. The kids, the community, everybody. It's still a little bit surreal being back here in a place that did so much for me. And then also, getting to do it. One of my first hires that I got to make was my defensive coordinator, Robert Tamplin, who's also a Henderson graduate that I played ball with. So getting to do it with him, a guy that I consider a brother. It's been a great experience so far.
Well, you talk about you being from Henderson and your defensive coordinator being for Henderson. And let's be honest, the last couple of years, it felt like Henderson being inconsistent, and it just kind of felt like the program had kind of got detached from the community. You being a Henderson guy, him being a Henderson guy, I would assume the first thing is you're trying to kind of reconnect to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a few things where we've gotten out and got to speak to a few groups and different people in the community. As I said, they've all been extremely welcoming, and most of them either know me or I know them, or we know some family members. So, we've all got a connection in some kind of way. But it's been great with the community and the kids and everybody else. And, with me and him both being from here in Henderson, we understand what the tradition is, and we understand what the expectations are and what the community expects. So that's something that I feel like, we're gonna do everything in our power to reach those expectations of what the community expects.
Now, talking about, Henderson being a home, Price Carlisle was pretty much a home to you as well. You'd been there since '08. You'd been the offensive coordinator and then the head coach in 2018. So it was a hard decision, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was a very tough decision. I'm forever grateful for my time at Carlisle. I love those kids there. I love the community, the administration. They've been nothing but great to me and my family. They gave me my start, and it was part of my growth in this profession was there and underneath that administration. So it was a very tough decision. And then, obviously after making the decision and talking to the kids, that was easily one of the toughest things I've had to do in this profession was looking at those kids after being there for that long and then telling them that I'm no longer going to be there. That was a very tough thing.
Yeah, but you got to be proud of the foundation that you and your dad, who was the head coach before you at Price Carlisle, the foundation y'all have laid for the Indians going forward.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a lot of props to him. My dad, he came in and completely changed that program there. Yep. And that community and everything else. I mean, they were at a time where athletically there wasn't a whole lot of success there, and I give him a lot of credit. He came in and did that before I ever joined staff there. All I did was try to continue the lead that he had set and continue to do my part in helping keep that program going the direction that he had it going.
You talked about your last talk with your Price Carlisle players. What was your first talk with your Henderson's players like after you got the job?
Yeah, just to introduce myself, to tell the guys, that I am familiar with the tradition here, and I am familiar with the expectations here, that I'm from here, that it means a lot to me, that this program does, and then we had a good talk with the junior class. It's going to be seniors. One of the things that I talked to them about, I asked them if they've ever played in a playoff game in football, and none of them were able to raise their hands. And I told them, as someone who's from this community that's put so much blood, sweat, and tears into this program, that hurts my heart, not just being their coach, but just to know that a group of guys who are willing to put in that sweat and sacrifice for this program have not had that opportunity. So I just told them, I by no means told them I was going to be able to give them that, but I did tell them that I was going to do everything in my power to help them get this program back to the tradition that I know it's capable of getting to, that as long as they would give me everything they got, that I promised I'd give them everything I got in return to help them get to the level that this program, that we feel like this program should be at.
Offensively, what are you going to do? What is your scheme? What do you like to do?
Yeah, we'll be spread, now we'll be very multiple out of it. We'll do all kinds of different personnels, whether it's 10, 11, 12. We'll have a lot of different personnels, a lot of moving, shifting, motions, but we'll be spread out of it. Now, as far as run, pass, percentages, things like that, I mean, it's hard to say until we get a little bit better look at the roster and the kids and get a little bit better feel for them after we see them out of some pads for a while. But yeah, we'll definitely be spreading and try to move the ball around a lot and put it in a lot of different guys' hands and find ways to get our playmakers in open space.
You bring up a good point, though. You're talking about when you see your kids more and stuff. Are you the type, now that you've taken the Henderson job, did you go look at a lot of film from the last couple of years, or have you, or do you just kind of start from scratch and just what I see from here on is what I judge off of?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I think you've got to give every kid a fresh start, regardless of anything else that might have happened in the past. We got to give them a fresh start and start brand new here. But yeah, we've definitely watched our share of film multiple times. We've watched every game, practice video, anything that we've got our hands on. We've watched just to try to get an idea of what some of the things we feel like the kids are good at, and then what some of the things that we feel like we need to really kind of work on early on to try to correct. But if there's things we've seen that are mistakes or things that we would like for them to be better at on film, it's definitely nothing we're going to hold against them from day one. Every kid's got a fresh start and an opportunity to prove themselves.
Well, and usually when a program struggles, you get the saying there's as many great football players walking the halls as there is on the football field. Are you trying to get the numbers up at Henderson?
I mean, that's something that we've addressed a little bit. We've got a few kids. There's a few that came and said they'd like to join the program. And like I said, we got open arms right now. Anybody that wants to have a fresh start and to come be a part of the program, then we're gonna welcome into it. But we want to put our focus on the guys that are here, the guys that do want to be here. A lot of times if there's guys who have gotten out of the program, they got out of it for a reason.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure that we do have the right guys in the locker room that want to commit, to fully commit, and be a family guy, and be a team guy. So we want to make sure we do want to see numbers increase, but it's important that we got the right numbers.
And for all the talk of rebuilding Henderson and everything, as you and I kind of talked when we were setting this interview up, it's great to rebuild, but man, you picked the wrong district to try to be rebuilding in.
It's not called the District of Doom for no reason. It's definitely not a favorable schedule. And our non-district schedule is tough too. Out of our 4 games, we got 3 out of the 4 are 5A schools. So there's not going to be any relaxing, easy Friday nights. That's for sure. But I can tell you that we're gonna have a plan. We're gonna be prepared, and we're gonna put a group of kids out there that'll fight for 48 minutes. That's our goal. We don't know what the scoreboard's going to reflect on it, but we do know that our kids are going to have a plan and be prepared when they're out there, and we're gonna put a group. We're gonna find us 11 guys we can put on the field to make Henderson proud, that's gonna fight and give everything they got for 48 minutes.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out. Back here, want to again thank the head coach of Henderson, Coach Clay Barr, for joining us. And if you didn't hear the first part of the show, he will be joining us each and every week during the season for the Henderson Football Show, brought to you by Raw Iron Gym of Henderson. It's going to be interesting to see because, the schedule is going to be really, really tough. And that, like he said, I mean, his first, 4 games, you've got Liberty Isle, Hallsville, Marshall, and White House. Then you start district with Lindale. And yes, it's very tough at the top with Chapel Hill and with Lindale and Kilgore. But there is a playoff spot for Henderson. Henderson the last couple of years had chances, even being down, to get into the playoffs. You basically need to win, 3 of your district games. You need to beat the teams for 4th, and that's a start. And that's how you relay a championship foundation. Yeah, it'd be great if they have a Cinderella story. They jump up to 1st and they go far in the playoffs. But the reality of it is getting to the playoffs year 1, build off that going forward. And Henderson has the talent. The talent didn't just disappear from that program. A team that 4 years ago was going 9-5. And playing a tough schedule and going 9-5 and making it to the semifinals. So the foundation is still there. It just kind of withered the last few years, but they can get it back. And I think Coach Baker and his coaching staff are the ones that can do that. And again, you'll be able to hear him each and every week during the football season, and we do appreciate that. We want to thank everybody for joining us. We had huge numbers on that last show with head coach Colt Bradford. So I'm really doing these. I'm really enjoying doing these. We're gonna try to get these down kind of basically every other day. It's just really hard. Like last week, you had the state track meet. A lot of coaches were gone. They were busy. And then with it being, the little bit of summer coaches get over the next month. But we're going to try to at least have it every other day, Monday through Friday. We'll have a new coach. And we do have a long list. There's a lot of changes in 4A, 3A, and 2A. But you can find us online, s2ssport.com. You can find us on Facebook. Just type in Sideline to Sideline. That, of course, is the award-winning show that Grant Goodwin and I do, where we talk all things 4A, 3A, and 2A each and every week inside the season. You can find us on Twitter. The show Twitter is at Grant and Terry. You can find the S2S Sport Network Twitter at S2S Sport. You can find L4 Media on Twitter at L4media.com. if you want to join us there. Also, NETSN, Northeast Texas Sports Network, Brett and the boys, they're going to be doing our East Texas show this year. I do really appreciate them doing that for us on top of all the games that they're going to be doing each and every week. They're doing them right now in baseball, man. Go check them out. They're doing a ton of games, and they've really picked up the baseball games, and they're going to be doing a ton of football this year as well. So please check them out. Well, if you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, email them to me, Terry at s2ssport.com. Again, thanks to Raw Iron Gym of Henderson for being the sponsor of this episode and the Henderson ISD football show for the 2023 year. Again, they're located at 2101 Highway 64 in Henderson. It is a fitness and physical center, a place to go where we keep talking about community and connection. You're not only there to lose weight, but with Logan in the group, you're there to find a family that's committed to helping you reach the goals that you want, whether it be losing weight, bulking up. Talk to Logan, and they'll get you set up. Okay, so that's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, I'm Terry Bennett, and this has been the Coaches on the Move show on the S2S Sports Network.